You know, I had the perfect videos. I had like 6 clips that I was getting ready to piece together. And I went to piece them together last night. And guess what? There was no audio. I don't understand it. It makes me irritable. The basic starting place for determining your sprinkler system and your needs starts with having to know how much flow you have per minute. And you can simply do that by putting a meter on this, or you can use a 5-gallon bucket method. I know from yesterday that I can fill up this 5-gallon bucket in right under 30 seconds. And it ended up being like 11.12 gallons per minute. I stopped at 30 seconds, which was 5 gallons, and then I doubled that. The next thing is super important in knowing when you're putting together or planning your sprinkler system is to know what your pounds per square inch is. I know that it's 48 pounds per square inch going into the house, the pressure regulator. So I'm going to hook on before the pressure regulator. That way I can get more flow and a little bit more PSI as well. But those are the two requirements when starting out, and even before you start marking out your zones. I'm going to be using Hunter PGP adjustable sprinkler heads throughout this entire project with a Rainbird ESP-TM2 controller. You can actually run it off of Wi-Fi on this, and it saves a lot of money because you can change your settings through the Wi-Fi. But what I'm going to be using, these have adjustable nozzles when you buy the Hunter PGP ones. I'm going to be using the 1.8 gallons per minute one. And if you'll see it, it is a flat slotted here. And what it will do, you can, once you get these in the sprinkler heads themselves, there's an adjustable screw that adjusts the fan. So you can make a straight shot, or you can screw the screw down and make a fan larger, and it just basically deflects the water. But that's what I'm going to use. That comes in at about 10.8 gallons per minute. So I know that I've got enough water supply to do it. And I know with 47, 48 PSI, I've got plenty of pressure to handle 6 heads. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 6 heads per zone, and I'm going to have 3 zones. So I've set up zones 1 on the north side of the road. You see the water actually comes from the valve setup over here. It comes across the road and onto the north side and then over into there. So there's 6 there. That's zone 1. This is zone 2 right here. You've got 1 head there, 2, 3. And then you got another head there, 1, 2, 3. All of zone 2 will put off 1.8 gallons per minute. And then we walk down here. This is our last and final zone. It will put out 1.8 gallons per minute as well. You have 1 head, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is zone 3. We did these calculations by doing the water test to find out how many gallons per minute of flow we will have. We will actually have a little bit more than 10, a little bit more than 11, because I'm going to hook on before the pressure regulator. Now keep in mind with any project, when you're running this much pipe, every elbow it goes through, every valve, every sprinkler head, you will lose some PSI due to friction. So our valve box is going here. I'm going to be tying on to the water coming into the house through this valve, down through here. This is still the water main for the sprinkler system. I'm going to elbow it across. It'll come in here on one side of the valve manifold. And on the opposite side is where the water comes out of each valve. There'll be 3 valves. There'll be one for zone 1, there'll be one for zone 2, there'll be one for zone 3. So whenever the timer runs, which I'm going to mount it on the porch, when it starts up and it says, hey, it's time to water zone 2, zone 2 right here will kick on. And it's going to say, hey, it's time for me to open your valve. It'll open up. When the timer runs out of time, it shuts it down and it goes to its next valve. This is what your valve system should look like, your valve manifold. If you'll notice, this is the in-feed side. This is the side that's bringing the water in from your source. So it stays pressurized. When your timer says, in every one of these, if you'll notice, every one of these valves says flow on it that way. So that tells me that this is the inside, the intake side. So this stays pressurized when you're running your sprinkler systems. When your timer or your controller says, hey, it's time to go off, open zone 1, this valve will open up, or at least water, to go to zone 1. When that timer is up, it says go to your next one. If it's zone 2 or 3, I mean, there's different programs you can use, but whichever valve your controller says to operate and to open and close, that's exactly what it does. All these valves have common wires. The white one typically is the one that goes to your common on your controller. The other one can be any color. You just want to be sure that they're labeled good so that you know that if you're running a red wire to 1, that the red wire goes to zone 1 on your controller. If blue is 2, then you need to be sure the blue wire is connected there, and the blue wire in your controller is connected to number 2, and then so forth, yellow to 3, 4, whatever. All right, I've already showed you the valve setup. I've got it all wired now. Remember, the white is common to all valves, and the rest, I always do my sprinklers at least for the first 4 colors in red, green, yellow, and brown. It's just something I've done over the years, and that's how all of them are wired. Zone 1 is red, zone 2 is green, 3 is yellow, and 4 is brown. I am using the Rainbird ESP-2M2, which you can actually run with the Wi-Fi. But like I told you, if you can see right here, the common wire is white, the zone 1 is red, zone 2 is green, zone 3 is yellow, and zone 4 is brown. Like I said, that's just the colors I've always put in sequence when I'm doing sprinkler systems. So it's just something to help remember. If I go beyond those 4 colors, then I typically have to write it down. I've already programmed this. You'll have to go to your user guide because every timer is different. But I'm going to fire it up. We have water. It's extremely windy today, so I don't know how this is going to look. I've already kind of dialed everything in. Zone 1 should start up. Yep, there it goes. It's going to clean my truck, looks like. Yeah. Like I said, these are I've already tested them. I know they're working. This is only for video purposes only. Yeah, I've got it set for 3 minutes right now because it's winter time. No need really to water. That's zone 1. Zone 2 is this area over here. in zone 3 starts right here. It goes out that way and out that way. I want to take just a second to thank you for tuning into my YouTube videos, and just to tell you how thankful I am for you, and how much fun I had putting these videos out. It's Thanksgiving week, and there are a lot of people in my circle that are going through a hard time with loss of family members, with loved ones going through hard times. It makes you really sit back and think about how special our relationship is with Christ. And this is a time to be thankful. It's a time to think about all the ways we've been blessed. Whether we're going through hard times or good times, always remember there's one on your side always. He'll be with you through the thick, through the thin, in those dark valleys, and even in the sunshine. So praise God this week, and have a blessed time with your family. And remember, you're special to me. God bless you.